Well, welcome back, everyone, to Buying Local Podcasts. I'm your host, Mike Nelson from Five Towers Media. Joined today by a couple folks from Just Cats Veterinary Clinic, I believe is the formal name, right, Susan?
Yes, it is. Yeah. 30
Uh,
years ago, I chose
what's that?
30 years ago, I chose that name.
30 years you've been doing that. Wow. And I know we're going to get into kind of some of the history and what you do. But first, why don't I just go ahead and have you guys introduce yourself, Susan, if you want to start.
Okay. Yes, I started Just Cats 30 years ago, had worked with dogs and cats for about 5 years and just found myself gravitating toward loving working with them. I love the quietness of a cat-only place. There's no barking dogs. I relate to them and by nature is sort of quietish, so I think they sort of gravitate toward that a little bit. And it was just two or three of us that started it, a receptionist from my prior workplace, and now it's grown quite a bit in the 30
Quite a
years.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
How many locations do you have right now?
We have two locations in Guilderland and in Saratoga Springs. Um,
Soon
And
to
then
be in Mechanicville.
what's that, Missy?
Soon to be in Mechanicville.
Soon to be in Mechanicville. That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we're going to talk about the new location opening up. Missy, since you're in front and center right now, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are.
My name is Missy Filarecki. I am the practice manager of just both clinics, Just Cats Veterinary Clinic. I've been there almost 10 years. It'll be 10 years in November, and I am a certified veterinary practice manager, CVPM, and a certified compassion fatigue professional, CCFP. So I'm happy to, I also relate quite a bit to the cats. And I don't know that I would ever be able to work in a field where I walked in and wasn't surrounded by the aura of cats. They're beautiful creatures.
Yeah. I was going to ask you guys, do you have like an office cat that just kind of wanders around? You do?
Yeah.
at the Guilderland office. We don't at the Saratoga, and who knows, whether we might at Mechanicville at some point. But yeah, Walter has been with us about 4 years, I think, almost. And he was at the emergency clinic, came in as a stray, and he just has the great personality of he loves people and
Yeah.
doesn't really care about the cats so much. So he walks around like, okay, and the clients love him. They're at the front desk and he
Yeah.
gets at them and
He gets
yeah,
all the attention, right?
does and
Mhm.
loves it.
That's great.
And the treats, right?
And all the treats. Yes, that's probably
That's
the secret,
motivated by food, most of them.
right? Susan, you mentioned about being in business 30 years and coming from a traditional veterinary practice of working with both cats and dogs. What got you into the veterinary world to begin with? Like, how did did you always know that you were going to be a veterinarian when you were a kid?
Yeah, 10 probably somewhere around there. I grew up in rural southwest Albany County down
Mhm.
toward Rensselaerville. Had a little mini farm. My dad always was a wannabe farmer
Yeah.
and had calves and sheep and dogs and cats. And yeah, I've always had the love for animals and yep.
I am also a wannabe farmer and am in similar vein to your father, so I understand. And I also understand how that would put you at the forefront of having to care for animals, because I know that, especially with the sheep,
Oh,
sheep just really love to get sick and have issues. So I've gotten a bit of an education myself the last few years in caring for sheep and all the help that they need. So.
I tell the story as a kid, my mom, we would have a sheep that had three lambs, right? And what do you do with three? Because they really can only take care of two. So we would take one into the house and there that little
Yes.
baby, and we'd bottle feed it and it would run up and down the hallway. And oh yeah,
Yeah,
good
they're,
manners,
they're little hooves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had to bottle feed a lamb this spring, not because it was a triple, but because the mom was so used to having singles, she didn't know what to do with the second.
Second,
And so
yeah.
she was rejecting the little baby lamb and wasn't letting the poor little guy eat. So in the house he came and bottle fed and
Oh, that's great to hear. The
you
tradition
know,
can use.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I don't know if there's a sheep farmer on the planet that doesn't know about bottle feeding at this point, right? Uh, so that's really interesting that just growing up around that on a small little farm that would inspire you to become a
Yes,
veterinarian.
and I actually thought I was going to do horses, to be honest. I
Oh
went to
yeah.
vet school, I had a horse, and I thought, oh, I'm going to do horses. And then I get to vet school, and they're not all friendly like my horse was.
Oh
And
yeah.
I'm like, and the lifestyle of a equine vet, God, I so credit them for what they do. They're out in all hours, you can't have an appointment for a horse that's in trouble, right? So you
Yeah.
definitely have a different lifestyle from that standpoint. So
Yeah. A little crazier, right? A little more running around and
a little challenging, yeah, but
yeah. So
so
for people that aren't familiar with Just Cats, maybe tell us a little bit about your practice right now as far as how you work with your clients and just kind of overall what it looks like.
ah, the
Oh,
guest
there it
appearance
is.
by Missy's kitty. There we go.
Laura.
Um, it's developed into I just want to work with cats and not dogs, right? When I first started, to no, I want to really do more for the cats than a cat and dog practice. And I think we've become that. It has morphed into our ability to specialize and concentrate on one species that has made us, I believe, a little more attuned to the new stuff that's out and the new procedures. And our staff is so amazingly trained to handle all different cats that come in, some scared, some, okay. And so we provide a full service. We have a fair amount of dental program. We do a fair amount of that. We do surgeries. As you know, I just got back from one. We do vaccinations. We start from the kitten world, which I love. That's the best part of our job. I love every part of it, but how can you not love a kitten? To the end of life. And we deal with a lot of senior cats and all that transpires from their care, which is
Mhm.
a totally different challenge.
Yeah. How is 30 years, that's obviously, technology's changed and medicine's changed and research and we know things now that we didn't know 30 years ago. What kind of things that really jump out at you that you've seen change over that time?
Uh, a treatment for FIP.
Okay.
That right there is just amazing. FIP was this awful disease that we would absolutely lose every cat that got diagnosed with it. Now there's a treatment for it, and it's wonderful to see that.
Oh wow.
And then on we use ultrasound all the time. That is a big part, and we didn't use ultrasound back then. So and we're on the technology end of Missy helping with this is just we use an AI in the room. And so we have somebody scribing for note taking. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
it's been a great, there's always something new. It's never boring. Sometimes
Yeah.
a little too challenging, but it's what we love. And I not ever thought I've never regretted making the decision I did.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know, now you're looking at opening up the location in Mechanicville.
Yes,
Um,
very
uh,
excited.
yeah, yeah. What can you tell us about tell us why you're excited about the Mechanicville location.
We've been in the Saratoga location, correct me if I'm wrong, 11 years. I think I opened this
2013.
2013. Yeah, and it's been a very small place. It was challenging to make it work, and now we found a place that triples the size of what we have, and so we're able to offer a lot more services in a much bigger space. It actually was an urgent care with exam rooms.
Wow.
It sort of worked out so nicely, and so then we've changed it a little, but not a lot, and now so we're hoping to get in there by I think August, the first part of August, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have written down August 4th for your your grand opening there. So
Yeah. Missy, you have anything that you would offer from a Mechanicville world?
Yeah, I'm excited about this space. I think that it's Saratoga where we were at previously. It was definitely it's a small place and not much opportunity for care. And it's also this sounds not veterinary, but the location of it, it's a lot easier to get in and out than both of our locations. It's at a major intersection. There's a red light in front of it, and it has ample parking. Think it's in the Capital District. It's really hard to find a place that you can have ample parking and don't have to deal with the whizzing of 55 miles an hour going back and forth that, with a cat in the car can be really stressful. So I think that is one of the most exciting things for me is the ability to be safer when coming to our clinic. And at the space, there's 5 exam rooms. We previously had 2. There's sinks in the exam rooms where we didn't have them before. There's treatment areas. There's a dental suite. There's a surgical suite. There's office space, and there's opportunities for us to expand, grow, bring on more people, and keep the Capital Region felines healthy.
very nice. And I know, currently in the veterinary space, like, I mean, I know when I'm trying to get appointments for my animals, I mean, we're weeks and weeks out, and a big part of that is just because space, right? Like you only have so
Yeah.
many animals in a location at once. So, do you anticipate being able to get people appointments sooner than without a lot of delay with all that extra space, or?
Open to. I think as you say though, Michael, unfortunately, the other side of that is the ability to have veterinarians in that
Yeah.
space, and there is definitely a shortage of veterinarians. I'm proud to say I am still independently owned, and so we find that hopefully this will attract another veterinarian. So I'll put that out there. If anybody
Yeah.
Capital District veterinary wise wants to join us, we're looking. But yeah, that is our hope, to be able to get more in, and I think that's a doable plan.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Why do you think there's such a shortage of vets these days?
It's a challenging field,
Yeah.
and I think that traditionally it's just as expensive to go to school to be a veterinarian as it is to be a medical doctor. And the vet field is less respected and I hate to say it, but less paid. So we're trying to actively change that. We're trying to do our best to who joins us, and that's all we can do. So it's a hard field to be put in that situation to may not be able to pay off your bills and your
Oh yeah. I can't
patient.
imagine what it costs to get through vet school, right? I
Yeah.
know I have a cousin actually that's just finishing up vet school, and I never asked my uncle how much it costs, but
Well,
I'm
and
sure it's not small.
I'll interject too that I do think companion animals play a bigger and bigger role with
Yeah.
humans, so that has increased our needs to take care of them. And so I think the supply of veterinarians has not kept up with the increased ownership. And specifically cats. I mean, we see more and more cat owners because they're easier, I guess, in a weird way of caring for them. You don't have to walk them every night. Some like to be walked, but you don't need to.
Mhm.
And yeah, we're seeing an increase in cat ownership, which is really great.
Yeah. And what I was going to say too, I mean, and you would know better than I would, do you feel that people are taking, we'll say, better care for their animals now? So that's increasing what they're bringing when they're bringing to the vet.
Totally. I love the care that they take, for them. It's phenomenal, right? Like they really care. If you give them medication, they keep track of it. They're very responsive to our recommendations. Yeah, it definitely, you see a difference. And I do think the internet helps, sometimes hinders, but mostly helps because they're more aware, right? And so they're already looking up and going, "Ooh, I think this is important. We need to bring them in." Where
Mhm.
before they would go ask an uncle and the uncle would go, "Ah, they're fine."
And they're fine.
They're
It's a
just
And not the
cat.
uncle that just went to vet school.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, I definitely know, most people these days, I feel like they're taking care of their animals, whether it's dogs or cats, like you do your kids, right? And well, I know when I was growing up, to your point, Susan, it was like, it's just a dog, it's just a cat, like they'll be fine, right? Like get them their shots and that's it. So
Mhm.
that's great. So looking forward to Mechanicville, the larger space, more opportunity to bring on another veterinarian, see more clients. What else we got going on with the new space that we're moving into? What else are we looking forward to?
A different area too, more opportunities to bring in other areas. The Mechanicville location, we've kind of done demographics on, and there's not a whole lot of options for veterinary care in that area.
Yeah.
It's a growing area. I myself live in Mechanicville at the moment and live in
Oh
a
wow.
area. Yeah, well, I'm unfortunately moving this weekend, so I'm moving away from the clinic. I didn't plan that when we got the clinic, which is kind of funny.
Clinic's moving to Mechanicville. You're moving to Saratoga.
Yeah. Yeah, so kind of backwards there, but there's so much developing in this area. Like the apartment complex that I currently live in, just built 5 new buildings across the street from me and 2 new buildings to the left. And for
Wow.
me right now, the closest veterinary clinic is Just Cats in Saratoga. So there's now and that's about a 15-minute drive for me here. So, and now with the new clinic, it'll be about 5 minutes. So anybody who's in Mechanicville will have a bigger opportunity to get a shorter ride for their cat.
Yeah, yeah. So driving over to
We're
Saratoga.
actually good.
Mhm.
That's right. We're also actually close to Bennington too, which
Mhm.
is that whole area. And I find being a specialty practice, we do attract a larger circumference around our practices overall. People are more willing to travel a little bit more.
Mhm.
It depends on the cat, right?
Depends on the
If
cat.
the
Yeah.
cat travels good, they'll come. If they're screaming the whole way, they're like, "Oh
Mhm.
no, I'm taking the first one that's right down the road."
And we should probably touch on, so what's the plans for the Saratoga location?
At this point, we are closing that, just from the logistics of trying to staff both. It has been a little bit of a challenge. As much as I don't like the busyness of this road, I've loved the location and the closeness of Saratoga Springs. So
Yeah.
we're hoping majority of our clients will follow us. That has, it is what it is. We care that they keep with us, but we understand too.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, also it sounds like you provide a real high quality of care to cats, right? And so, what's an extra 20 minutes when you've got
yeah.
when you're looking for that quality of care. So
That's
And
right.
who
And
knows if
we have clients down in Guilderland that, if they can't get in down in Guilderland, they'll come up to Saratoga.
Mhm.
yeah,
And so,
yeah,
yeah.
excellent. All right, so August 4th is the tentative date, right? Or are we locked in stone for that one,
We're
Missy?
locked in on that, I believe. Yeah.
Locked in on that? Okay, August
Mhm.
4th.
Yep.
And I know you're going to be putting out some communications and letting people know that you are looking for new clients in the Mechanicville area. And then Saratoga clients hopefully will make the journey, which why wouldn't they? Uh, any other thoughts, Susan, as far to close out the interview and about the excitement of the new office?
No, I'm definitely excited about it. I typically have been working more in Guilderland, and I plan to work a little bit more up in Mechanicville, to have my presence up here a little bit more or up there. So that'll be nice.
Very
So
nice.
excited. And
Awesome.
our staff have been very, very excited, the ones that work in Saratoga, because
Mhm.
stumbling over each other for too long. So
Yeah, yeah.
jokingly say though, they're gonna need now walkie-talkies or something. They go from
They're
Well,
really
they're going
excited
from a
about the
small house to a big
Mhm.
house, right? Where are the
yeah,
kids? I don't know.
yeah, you won't know where anybody is in the building, right?
That's
Mhm.
it.
They're
Uh,
excited about the Chinese food restaurant being next door too.
That's
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. It's everyone's food bill is gonna go through the roof because
Yep.
well, ladies, I really appreciate you jumping on with me, and Susan, appreciate you jumping out of surgery and coming to speak with us and talk to our audience about what you're doing and about the big move. And we're really excited for you, and can't wait to hear more about it as things get rolling into August and going and growing. So,
Thank you very much, Michael. This
thank
was
you.
good.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Appreciate
thank
being
you.
here.
And thanks everybody for listening. Of course, you can find us at buyinglocal.us, and you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and Rumble. I always forget which one of those we're on. But thanks again, everybody, for listening, and you'll hear from us next week.